the drugs in the ghettos and put all kinds of negativity in the ghettos. Let's keep them there. Yeah, what's that? So yeah, carry on.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you how wicked and diabolical they can be. They financed and set up the drug cartels in Mexico to allow the drugs to come into our neighborhoods when they seen us coming together. They didn't want the Black Panthers and the nonviolent movement and the Muslim black movement to come together. They was afraid that if we put this together, that's an army. All right? So they paid the drug cartels, which are Issachar's, our own brothers. They paid them top dollar to funnel the drugs, to farm the drugs, and they allow the drugs to come over to destroy our spiritual movement. And then I'm going to show you how slick they are. Now that they've accomplished destroying us morally and tore us down and tore our neighborhoods down, look what they're doing now. They're blaming everything on the drug cartels in Mexico they set up. Really, what they were doing, they was putting one tribe against another tribe. They were starting a war on both sides, and now they're just sitting back looking, and they fund both sides. Now everything is Mexico's fault. Oh, we have to cut off the borders because of the drug cartels leaking over the borders. Come on, man. How long the drug cartels been fighting each other? Y'all don't care about that. Y'all want to kill everybody now. So we have to stop first. We have to stop killing each other. And this is not a slogan. It's the truth. We have to stop. Anything with their hands in it, we have to stop. All right? Something came into my mind when I was driving. When we couldn't get into the building, we came here. It came into my mind that I was looking at all the stores and all the things that's set up in our neighborhoods. Don't forget, 60% of the finances that are spent in America that's consumed come from us. They come from the poor. The Indian, the Puerto Rican, the black, the Israelites actually make this economy go. And I was checking out all the different minority stores from people that were not a part of the civil rights. They come over here and get minority rights to set up stores. And they didn't die in our country. Right? I'm looking at the Asians and all these other people. I'm like, man, look at this. I'm like,
they'll get along before our own people will get along.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I tell you,
and then set them up right in the ghettos.
I'll tell you,
right
exactly. So
look at in the ghetto, what do you see? Liquor store on top of liquor store on top of liquor store. Drugs. Every door.
I'll tell you what, brother. If brothers had enough sense, brothers can change this thing overnight.
If the brothers unite and
one. But they have to unite with an idea. You understand? People been trying to unite, but they have to unite with a common idea. I was thinking, man, if everyone got together, like in a 4-block radius, you have block captains or what have you, and say, listen, we're going to get together and we're going to form an alliance, a spiritual alliance, where we don't support any stores financially that's outside of our community. That means somebody within the 4-block radius must own every store within our 4-block radius.
It's not valid.
We can easily put the other stores out of business. Just don't go to them. Let's stop going to them. Let's go to somebody and say, well, what you want to do? And let's put our money into that person and start their business. And it'll be the same business we just discontinued going to with an Asian. And we could do this all around the board and say, listen, we're not spending no money outside of ourselves. I'm just putting a few things out there to say, listen, we can think within ourselves. We don't got to spend money for fried chicken and collard greens to an Asian. Who can make fried chickens and collard greens better than us, man? You understand? So if we just got together and say, listen, let's stop going to people and marching and doing all this and say, let's come together and start with our monetary consumption. Our monetary, the way we spend. We'll shut everybody down. And then we can talk about policing ourselves through our houses. Everyone know in their house who, who's the drug dealer, who's this, who's that. We can cut them off, man. These are things that can happen if we come together in the spirit. Okay? I'm just throwing some things out there because we have to start thinking as a nation. The way we thought and the way we operated before we were brought here in captivity.
We were brought here in captivity. Now, let me just say one other piece.
Go ahead.
We were brought here in captivity, right? Now, you had the Negroes working out in the fields, but you also had the Negroes working in the house. Now, quite obviously, what's going to go down is nothing but jealousy right there and then. That was instilled into the black man, was jealousy. He's envying, he's jealous of that man in the house where that he should be out there in the field. And it just has gone on, it has festered into generations. That's one reason why we don't get along with each other right now. Because it's jealousy and envy.
Well, it's the old Willie Lynch syndrome. To pit one against the other.
Mm-hmm.
And see, another thing they did, which was wicked, during the time of our spiritual liberation, when the Lord was waking us up, like in the 60s and 70s, they let they let these wicked criminals out of jail and set them up with finances and everything to kill our people with heroin. They just let these criminals, these hardened criminals, out of jail. They say, listen, we're going to set you up. So you're going to always find some people amongst us that will be willing to kill their own people. That's just inherent in our nation now. Okay? It wasn't the Romans that wanted Christ dead. It was his own people, the Pharisees and scribes, through jealousy, the same thing you're mentioning now. So until we come together and realize if we all don't have it, then none of us have it. You understand? We should be willing to struggle together. We should be willing to rejoice together, mourn together. But as long as we're together, instead of letting these people divide us through ideology, through religion, you understand? We have to realize these people that we're dealing with, the spirit we're dealing with. Man, listen, man. You have corporations. You have people in corporations that will hate each other. But they will come together in a board meeting to make sure the company runs. Because they see the common cause. They see the overall cause is deeper than their personal vendetta against another person. We can work that out later. But the company must stand. We don't have that mentality. We have a crab in the bucket mentality. Where none of us have anything and we're just beating each other up for crumbs. Exactly. So we should have it where, listen, brother, even if me and you don't agree with the same thing, let's agree with living so they don't kill us. Is that good? Let's start there. Let's agree that we can work together to survive, because we're moving into survival mode now. All this little bickering and all that, it's going to get people killed. It's time for people to put their petty differences to the side and realize there's a battle we must fight together, and it's deeper than our small differences. Get Matthew 12. I don't want to go off the beaten path, man. I'm off it, but I'm going into the Nephilim. But I want to break this down real quick. Matthew 12 and 25. Read that for me.
Matthew 12 and 25. And Yeshua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Read that again. Every what?
Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
See, they know this. Listen, Satan knows the words of Christ. Every kingdom what? Read it again.
Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. That's what Christ said. He was letting us know, in order to survive, we can't be divided. So what did Satan do? He divided us. Through skin color, through gender, all these different groups. I'm like, look at all these groups. He have power through division. Division, you can pit one against the other. That's why there's so many groups in America. This group and that group and this group and that group. Light skin, dark skin, tall, short, thin, fat. You understand? So we cannot survive if we divide it. Read.
Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Go ahead.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Every city that's divided against itself will not stand. Because instead of you building the city together, they're sitting back funding you tearing down your own city. It makes me sick. Even on a low level, it makes me sick when I see how they do this. They'll take a perfectly good neighborhood and they won't put a dime into the neighborhood and let it run down and put drugs and everything and let the value run down, right? And when the value gets so low and the taxes get so low in the neighborhood, they'll come through and buy everything up that's ran down for pennies on a dollar, right? And once they do it, they'll put some fancy name over it, raise the taxes, and all of you have to move out of the place. Brewery Town. They do it every place. But the first thing they do, yeah, they watch you for about 10 years knowing the end result. So they be looking 10, 20 years down the line. Let's put the drugs in. Let's put the guns in. Let's send somebody through there and pop open trunks and sell guns to them. Publicize it all over the earth that they're killing each other, that they're just degenerates. You understand? And then let's lower the property value. They can't afford to be there the way it is anyway. Then we'll make it seem like we're saving them by coming in and making this place a beautiful place, but yet now they can't afford to be there. Don't worry about it, because we already have a place for you. Coffins. Yeah. There it is. FEMA camps. Don't worry about it. Rent free. That's what's coming. Notice in all your neighborhoods, you have visitors. Okay? And you didn't invite these visitors in your neighborhood. Okay? You have visitors, folks. Okay? And this is how they do it. It'll be, the neighborhood will be slummed down, right? And they'll send in the dreadlock Europeans on skateboards, the college kids. They'll be the first guys showing up riding bikes and skateboards. Being cool with everyone. They're the first guys. Okay, if they survive a month, we know we can start sending some white collars down there. They'll put those guys up in the house for a little bit and they'll survive. Next thing you know, they'll put some fancy name on it. They'll move you out somewhere, like to make the property value in a place where they have concentration camps like Georgia. Let's make the value real low in Georgia, so that when the time comes, we can round them all up in Georgia. At one time, Georgia was the black capital. You thought y'all planned that, right? No, they just needed you to be all in one place to be rounded up. Wake up, folks. Let's go into this Bible. A nation divided against itself cannot stand. We went into the Nephilim. You got it? Okay. We went into the Nephilim this Friday. The Nephilim, for those that wasn't here, were the giants that came from angels and women. Okay, it was before the flood. The Most High had to flood the earth because angels came and slept with women. Who didn't know that before I just said it? Sis, you didn't know that? Go to Genesis 1 and 6. Let's get it.
Was Nimrod one?
Yes, he was. He was the son of a Nephilim. He was worshipped as a god. Genesis 1 and 6. Genesis 6 and 1. Read that.
Genesis 6 and 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters of men were born, and daughters were born unto them.
Daughters was born unto them. Read on.
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
So the sons of God, which are the angels, saw the daughters of men that they were fair. So they looked down on women before the flood. Read.